Welcome back to the channel. This is Gillis TV right here on Clemhawks, and today we got some Minnesota Twins news as Carlos Correa has opted out of his contract with the Twins to hit free agency, leaving 2 years, I believe $70 million on the table to test the free agent market, and everyone saw this coming. Twins fans saw this coming, the Twins organization saw this coming, the whole MLB community saw this coming, and that's going to lead to speculation on who's going to try and go after a guy like Carlos Correa, who, after his time in Houston, he was a pretty good player there. Yes, the whole cheating scandal and all that, we'll leave that to the side. That's in the past. I'm all about the future, as his former teammate, George Springer, just hit a home run. Now, let's go over the stats for Correa. Then there's three teams that I think will be inquiring about his service, with a fourth one being on the outside looking in when it comes to Carlos Correa. In 136 games this year, he had 522 at-bats, 70 runs, 152 hits, 24 doubles, 1 triple, 22 home runs, 64 RBIs, and he was caught stealing once. He walked 61 times for a 291 batting average. Walking 61 times, that's pretty good. That batting average is up there. He's going to get a payday somewhere, probably in the 30 million a year range, like he signed with the Twins. Now, where is that going to be? As you see, one of the teams are on your screen, the Toronto Blue Jays. I'll get to them last. The first team I'm going to think of when I think shortstop, they went out, got Juan Soto, Josh Bell. They spent money this past trade deadline. The San Diego Padres, right now, they got Jake Cronenworth and Ha-Sung Kim, who, if you look at their numbers compared to Carlos Correa, aren't as good as Carlos Correa. Correa could fit into there, as Kim actually plays. He's a utility player. He could play third base. He could play second base. Cronenworth can play second base. Kim can play basically any infield he wants. So it works out to have Kim as the utility player, move Cronenworth to second base, and you'll be set for that. As I just lost where I was. But it makes sense for the Padres to do that overall to get a guy like Carlos Correa. It's a win-win scenario in my mind for the San Diego Padres. Like I said, sorry, it's been a long night. Went to the Oilers home opener last night. Like I said, there's two other teams plus a wild card team. Two wild card teams. So that's my first team. Is the San Diego Padres could be looking to upgrade the shortstop position. I looked into the Phillies, not really the Phillies with Bryson Scott, or Stott, sorry, not Scott, and what they have going on there. The Phillies can stay young there and be a really good team. So they were out. Now, next one, you're going to be shaking your head, but it's the MLB. This team is always linked to these guys, and as a Blue Jays fan, I hate to say this. The New York Yankees. The New York Yankees went out, got Falefa last year from the Twins, and that Donaldson and Falefa for Gio Urshela and Sanchez. And you know what? For both teams, it sort of worked out, I guess you could say. Donaldson didn't have the average year, whatnot. Falefa kind of, was hit or miss every game he showed up. But looking at the New York Yankees here at their shortstops, they got Falefa, Oswald Peraza, Gleyber Torres, and Oswaldo Cabrera. Sorry. Like I said, it was a long night. Cabrera can play the outfield. We all know that. Peraza, Gleyber, Torres can all play second base as well. This creates an opening for Falefa to be a bench utility player. You gotta think what to do with Peraza, but Gleyber Torres can go play second base. Carlos Correa can play second base if you ask him to. Having a shortstop that can do multiple positions helps the New York Yankees with trying to add a player like Carlos Correa, which we all know they got the money to do that. So Correa to the Yankees could seem like a shoo-in to happen, which Yankees fans would probably wouldn't mind a guy come in, fill out that fifth, sixth, seventh spot in the order, help the team out offensively. He can hit home runs, he can get RBIs, he walks. He would be actually a really good ninth place hitter by the amount of walks he gets. Now, we'll move on because the Yankees do have money, and I could see the Yankees being a really good fit for Carlos Correa. We're going to go to one of the wild card teams before we hit the last wild card team and the last team I think should make a push for Correa. It's going to be the Chicago White Sox. They had a down year. They were hit or miss throughout the whole way through the season. It was ups and downs, ups and downs. It was like a wave for the Chicago White Sox. And they did go get Elvis Andrus when he was, I believe, let go by Oakland. There's a spot opening up. Can the White Sox convince Correa, hey, stay in the same division as us, let's try and do this, and win? And I believe the White Sox are one of those teams that they're on the brink of making the playoffs for the next few years. They just need to keep getting better, going out and spending money, and doing what they do best, winning games with their pitching. They have a really good outfielder. They got Tim Anderson as the shortstop. Correa can play second base. All said and done, there you go. Now, the other wildcard team. Maybe a reunion. Going back to the Houston Astros. They had a really good year, and this is why they're the wildcard team, is Correa could push them back up to that championship team they had when they had Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, all those guys. It's a possibility that that might happen. I have read some reports. I don't know how true they are, if these guys are even true, but there are reports that Houston is interested in a return, just not the salary Correa wants. So if Correa wants to go to a winning team, he's probably going to have to take a pay cut. That said, how badly does he want to win again? Or how badly does the money mean to him in the end? Now, I left the Blue Jays to the end because I'm a diehard Blue Jays fan. I know a lot about this team and whatnot. Correa to the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette. Offensively, phenomenal player. Defensively, mediocre. Sorry. That there, he led shortstops in the most errors, I believe, in the AL this year. He had a bunch of errors. It's defensively, Bo Bichette can cost the Blue Jays a game. I'm not saying he's a terrible player. He is a phenomenal player. He learns a lot. He learns a lot going into every season that we have seen. He has become one of the best opposite field hitters in the game. Now he can lead the league in hits. Don't get me wrong. He is a great player, but defense wins you games, and you can't have a shortstop costing you a game here and there, because it can turn around, and as I say that, he dives and throws one out at first. But defense can cost you games as well. I know they got Espinal playing second right now, with Biggio kind of playing whatever position the Blue Jays asked him to play. Well, what if you maybe let go of Chapman? I know Blue Jays fans are going to say, hey, hold on, no. Well, Chapman didn't have a really good year. Yes, he can hit home runs, but he strikes out like crazy. His average isn't good. We need he is he didn't have a good year defensively like previous years. It was still a good year, just not as great as his previous years. Now, if you get rid of Chapman, just hear me out on this. You move Bichette to second base. Less throwing distance, easier for Bichette. Guerrero doesn't have to stretch out every time Bichette throws the ball. Less errors are going to happen. You bring in a guy like Correa who can play defensively and get that ball over there. We all seen, not this previous season, but the year before, Espinal play third. Espinal can play third base. So there you go. You get Correa, you move Espinal from second to third, Bichette to second. You're laughing because you're defensively, you just got a bit better. Yes, Chapman can play the hot corner pretty good, but you just minimize the errors potentially that Bo Bichette will get throughout a game and a season. So it's a different scenario as we just see Ursula, you know, get an error. But that's the way the Blue Jays can look at this is Correa has a better average than Chapman. Home runs are roughly the same. RBIs go in favor of Chapman, but strikeouts go in favor for less strikeouts go to Correa. You need to get the batting order going. You can't have a guy that's going to strike out twice, three times every game. You're not going to win games with that. Yeah, okay, he can hit the odd 2-run home run game, but wouldn't you want a guy on base, let the order flip around? That's what made the Blue Jays so well this year with the bottom 7, 8, 9 guys, is because they were just getting on base. They weren't worried about hitting the home run or anything. They were just worried about getting on base and therefore did a pretty good job this year, and I'll give them credit. But you know what? That's just me rambling. You let me know in the comments what you guys think. As, like I said, Correa has opted out of his contract with the Minnesota Twins after one season. I hope you guys have a good one. This is Gillis TV here, right on Clemhawks, and I'll catch you on the next one.